who should not be an entrepreneur, and when do you know when to give up?
About 2/3 of America should not be entrepreneurs. And the reason you would know that is you're unable to make the first step. If you don't have the ability to take risk, you'll never be a successful entrepreneur. Because I'll give you an example. In great business schools, I teach at practically all of them. Almost half the class become consultants. They don't have the guts. Because think about a consultant. They never make any decisions of consequence. Mm-hmm. You get paid a lot. It's great. If you go to the top of your consulting firm, maybe you make $3-4 million a year. That's great. Can't complain about that. But every decision you make is just a consultation, so that an executive who actually makes decisions, who's a real entrepreneur, can say yes or no to that idea. You're just making decisions of no consequence whatsoever. And the reason I don't hire consultants is after 2 years, they get that virus. They're just generating opinions. They're not doing anything. And I don't mean to insult consultants. I would just never hire them. And so if you really, jump off and become a consultant, you're going into a life of mediocrity. And I'm trying to define the difference between that life of mediocrity and one where that same graduate says, I'm going to take a chance. I'm 28 years old. I don't have a family yet. I'm going to start a business. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I have the ability to just take that risk, not seeing what's on the other side of the chasm. And I'm going to forego a salary of $200,000 a year because I want something more. Yeah. Those are the people who become free one day because they make $5 million in a day because they're entrepreneurs. And that consultant that you use, they're back enjoying their lives, but in a sea of mediocrity.
Do you think you're born like that, though? Because it seems as though there is a personality type that's more prone to becoming an entrepreneur who really pushes back against rules, against authority, and they want to take a different path.
I don't know if you're born that way. I think you have events that occur in your life that are jolting to you. And every entrepreneur I talk to that's been successful has that defining moment where they say, I remember this moment in my life, and I remember what happened to me. And it just changed my direction. It's like a meteorite in space. Knock it off course a fraction of an inch. 100 years later, it's a billion miles in a different place. Well, that's the same thing with an entrepreneur. Early in their lives, for me, it was getting fired the first day I ever had a job. I realized that was just somebody else had power over me. I couldn't even deal with that concept. And so I never worked again. And with all the hardships and everything else, but it's very similar. There's some event that triggers somebody. So I'm not sure you're born with it. It's just something in your DNA says, I'm going to take that path of risk.
What do you think is more important for a successful entrepreneur? To be hungry for money, to be focused on profits, increasing revenue, decreasing expenses, or to be very passionate about the product or service that you're trying to sell?
Well, if you're hungry for money, I guarantee you'll fail. 100%. If you start into entrepreneurship and on a journey and all you care about is getting rich, you will fail. You will fail miserably. Every entrepreneur, not some, every single one that achieved some massive liquidity event that I've talked to, and I've met many of them, they don't even remember, the day it happened. They just woke up and said, oh my goodness, I'm filthy rich. But they weren't calculating for that. It's because they created something of such value that someone else said, well, we want to buy that business, and you own whatever you owned of it. And that's what happened to me. I woke up one day and we sold the learning company for $4.2 billion. I was one of the founding members. I had founder shares. I wasn't even thinking about that the night before when we were negotiating the deal. And then the funny thing was when we all came back to the office, the 10 of us that were founders, we didn't know anything else except to go back to work. We didn't even know what to do. So the only difference was we were filthy rich. Over time, people change sort of their momentum and their motivation. But if you think that you can calculate the exit and that somehow you can start a business because you know you're going to sell it, make a lot of money, you will fail 100%. Yeah. It's the second issue you talked about. It's the passion of loving what you do and getting up every day and willing to work 25 hours a day, 8 days a week because you love it so much and you love to compete. That's how you become free. It's about not about the pursuit of capital. It's the pursuit of freedom, personal freedom. I don't have to work anymore. I work harder than I ever have. I really enjoy what I do. I love to compete. I love to do what we're doing right now, talking about this so that others may learn from my mistakes. But the whole idea is personal freedom. That is the American dream. And you have to set your course on that. And there's one attribute you need to pull that off. And I've taught so many people. It's the ability to differentiate the signal from the noise every minute.